This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. Can you hear me? Please confirm. Morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I hope you have remembered the concept what we have discussed in the last session. We have started understanding the tool called as Maven. First point, Maven is a build tool, isn't it? What does it do? It builds an artifact. What is an artifact? Artifact is nothing but a final file, not the source code. We convert the source code into artifact, and the final file we give it to users is nothing but an artifact. It's generally an exe file, or a jar file, or a var file. So these are the artifacts, isn't it? So the Maven is a build tool which takes the source code as an input, package the source code, and finally gives an artifact. Okay, and we also have discussed about we also had a discussion about Maven global server, Maven local repository. We also had a discussion about Maven global server, Maven local repository. Okay, recap. Dinesh, what is Maven global server?
Yeah, we can get the APIs from there, like by using search.maven.org.
Exactly.
And from there, the APIs will be moved into local repository.
Yes. Okay. Developer, let's say this is developer's laptop. Developers connects to Maven global server. That is nothing but that's nothing but search.maven.org. Download the APIs from Maven global server to Maven local repository. Isn't it? Downloading happens. What are the APIs which are required? Developers download the APIs. Developer connect to Maven local repository. They complete the developmental activity and upload the source code into the GitHub repository. So that's how we can avoid this is the right way to upload the source code to avoid the vulnerability, the threat of being attacked or harmed. Okay, so that we already have discussed in the last session. Okay, and we also have learned the process of installing Maven and how to check whether Maven is successfully installed or not. How to check whether Maven is successfully installed or not. MVN version is the command which helps you to check whether is Maven successfully configured or not. Maven is successfully configured. So for Maven, we need to install Java. We have downloaded Java. We have created some environment variable Java underscore home. We have created one more variable M2 underscore the home, and then we have performed the configurations. Isn't it clear? Any questions? Satyam, did you configure Maven on your personal laptop?
Yes, sir. I downloaded the application software and I did the configurations.
You are able to see MVN version to check whether Maven
Yes,
is
sir.
working or not.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Now today, let's understand the process of building an artifact. We'll be understanding the process of building an artifact. It is whose responsibility to build an artifact? Can you guess? It is whose responsibility to build an artifact? Do you think as a DevOps engineer we are responsible for building an artifact? No, we will never build an artifact. It is development team to use the right product to build right build tool and then perform right configurations to build the right artifact. This is development team responsible. Okay, but still, as I said you, so we should be aware of each and every responsibility of the development team performs. So we are learning this process of building an artifact. Anyways, we need an artifact to show you examples of Jenkins. So let's have an artifact. Okay, so today we'll be learning the step-by-step approach development team generally follows build an artifact. Okay. Any questions? No questions? Okay. So we should be familiar with these terms. We should be familiar with artifact. You already know it. Artifact is nothing but the final result, final file which is generated. It's an artifact. We know it. Command to generate Maven number. We should understand what is Maven number. We should understand what is group ID. We should understand what is artifact ID. We should understand form.xml. So these are the basic terms we should be familiar with. Please have a look at this. Artifact, you know it. What is Maven number? What is Maven number? And what is project ID, group ID? I'll explain you this. If you want to build an artifact, you need to generate an artifact from the source code. You need to run this command mbn arch type generate. This is a command which starts generating an artifact. When you run this command, it will ask for select a Maven number. Please observe it. Mbn arch type generate. Please wait. Please observe what happens here. Generating the project in an interactive mode. Generating the project in interactive mode. Now it is asking you choose a number. You need to select a Maven number. You need to enter the Maven number. There is an importance for the Maven number. What is the default Maven number? It is prompting as 1672. What is 1672? Let's try to understand. These are all Maven numbers. 2796959493. These are all Maven numbers. All these 4-digit numbers are nothing but what numbers? Maven numbers. So what is the default number? Have you observed? 1672. 1672, which contains a sample Maven project. So 1672 is the default number which helps you to generate sample Maven project. Now development team should select the right Maven number. to select the right MAVEN number. For example, for sample MAVEN project, the default number. If the development team is developing an artifact related to Spring application, they need to select this particular MAVEN number. If the development team is developing a web application, then you need to select this particular MAVEN number. If the development team is using Android and iOS application using Java, then they need to select this MAVEN number. There are different types of projects. You can develop a Spring project, you can develop a standalone project, you can develop a web-based application. Using you can they're different. We can develop a mobile application. So you need to provide the right MAVEN number according to the application what is being developed. So development team uses the right MAVEN number. So let's take the default one. So I hope you understood MAVEN number and the X is the right MAVEN number we need to enter. We necessary development team and as per the requirements. So we are just generating a MAVEN sample MAVEN project. Just taking the default one. It is asking for the arch type version. Okay, take the default version 8. Group ID. What is group ID? You need to understand this. Group ID should be as per the following structure. If your development team is involved in developing commercial application, the group ID should be com.project name. If you're developing government-based application, gov.project name. For non-profit organization, org.project name. So that should be the group ID. Those are the standards for you need to follow for creating group ID. So let's say I'm creating commercial project. Com.project name. Com.project name. Let's say I'm building an artifact for HSBC Bank. So I write it as com.hsbc tech. Okay. So group ID is com. Remember. Artifact ID. Define the value for artifact ID. The final artifact will be generated, right? What should be the file name? It could be a jar file, whatever it is generated. What should be the file name? The file name is dependent on the artifact ID what you provide. So for example, artifact ID I'm providing it as web app HSBC. That means the final file will be hr web app hsbc.jar or something like that. So basing on this, the final file will be generated. Take the default version. Are you sure you want to develop it? Build success. The project has been built. The project has been built. So where the project has been built, the project is built on C drive users admin web app HSBC. Let's go to the project location. Yes, project has been built. This is a default project. Look at this. If you open this, there's some default folder structure gets created. See, there one folder and one file, and this is having few more folders. See, these are all the folder structures. By default, Maven will build it. Okay, the way the folder structure is created in the C drive admin, so web app HSBC. So according to the value you have provided, group ID you have provided, com.webapp.hsbc. So according to the folder structure got created. A sample folder structure got created. Any questions? The default folder structure got created. Yes.
Sunil, how
Jay.
you will come to know all these details like application, I mean like group ID, artifact ID,
As I
whether we need
told
to
you,
give.
we are not responsible for providing the Maven numbers
Okay, okay,
because we are not the people who will be building the application. It's a
okay,
development team who builds an application. So they know what Maven number they need.
okay, okay.
Okay, Dinesh? But
Okay, Sunil.
this exposure we should have it.
Okay.
Okay,
So from where
not be
the Maven
blind,
will
not
generate
be
the search?
blind when
I mean,
anybody is talking about Maven. Should have an exposure also. What Maven? The basic, at
so
least
from,
basic.
yeah. So from where it will take the source code? If you don't have source code in GitHub, it will generate a Maven artifact or else it won't
I'll
generate.
show you. I'll show you now.
Okay.
Yes, Prashant. We cannot hear you, Prashant. Prashant, we cannot hear you. Please check your audio settings. So sample structure got created. Okay. Now let's explain this project structure. In which location the project has been created? Yes, we got that information in the path. In this location, the project structure has been created. In this location, we have one folder and file. In this web app HSBC, we have one folder and one file. What is the folder? SRC folder. And one file that is nothing but a form.xml file. And this particular SRC folder contains two more folders, main folder and test folder. Let's try to understand what is this folders. SRC stands for source code. SRC stands for source code. The code created by the developer will be in the main folder. In the source code, the complete project code should be available in the main folder. The code created by the developer should be available in the main folder. And test folder contains also the source code created by the developer for performing unit testing. Developer also performs one testing called as unit testing. So that unit testing source code should be available in the test folder. So these are the folders where we should place the source code. These are the folders we should place the source code. Okay. And there's one more file called form.xml file. What is the importance of form.xml file? Please look here. Developers will download the APIs from Maven global server to Maven local repository. This was point, isn't it? Let's say developer wants to download two APIs. Developer wants to download two APIs. So what the developer will do? Developer will search for the API information in Maven global server. Okay. And that API information he'll paste it in copy.form.xml file. Form.xml file contains the APIs which are required by the developer to download. He wants only two APIs out of millions of APIs. He wants only two APIs. That APIs information we should provide it in form.xml file. How to provide it? Anyways, we'll soon discuss about practicals. Okay, so this is the default folder structure got created by Maven. SRC folder should be source code, and form.xml file should be the API information. Okay, as is the default folder structure, what I'll do, I go to this particular folder that which got created, that which where the folder got created, the HSBC. So as this is the location where the source code we are placing, so I open git bash from here. Okay, I convert this folder into working directory. What is working directory? Working directory is a location where the source code should be placed, isn't it? So as we are placing the source code here in where web app HSBC, I'm converting this particular web app HSBC folder into working directory. How can I do it? By using the command git init. The folder got converted into a working directory, and by default the SRC folder form.xml file, by these are called as what file? Untracked files. I move it into staging area. From the staging area, I want to move it into local repository. Yes. I have created a commit. This is the first commit. The default folder structure which got created by Maven, that folder structure, I made it as my first commit. Next. Try to understand next. I explained about the pom.xml file. What did I mention about pom.xml file? Vishal, I said that pom.xml file should have the API, will have the API information which needs to be downloaded from Maven global server to Maven local repository. How should we mention the API information in pom.xml file? Where should we search for the APIs? Obviously, we should search for the APIs in
Global repository. Maven
yes,
global
that's nothing
repository.
but search.maven.org. Let's say developer wants a MySQL API. He'll search for MySQL API. There are a lot of MySQL APIs. Let's say he selects this particular API. When he selects an API, when he identifies this is the right API he wants, he should copy the dependency tag. He should copy the dependency tag. Dependency tag is nothing but API coordinates. Dependency tag is also called as an API coordinate. So we need to copy this dependency tag and paste this dependency tag in where in pom.xml file. First, I open pom.xml file. Look at the pom.xml file, how it looks like. I want to open with Notepad++. File open. Where is the pom.xml file? Web app HSBC. I'm opening the pom.xml. The pom.xml file which I have opened, please observe, there's a dependencies. Inside dependencies tag, we have a dependency tag. Dependencies is plural, dependency is singular. Each dependency tag will have one API information. So if developer wants this particular API, he'll copy these APIs and paste that API in which location? Pom.xml. Okay. Let's say developer wants Google Map API. Let's say this is the APIs which are related to Google Map. Let's say he's selecting one API. He will get the dependency tag. I'll copy this dependency tag and mention that dependency tag are nothing but also called as I told you, are also called as API coordinates, that you should mention it in pom.xml file. So finally, save. So finally, what does pom.xml file contains? Pom.xml file contains the APIs which the developer wants. I have updated the pom.xml file. Okay. Once I have updated pom.xml file, now what I need to do? Please try to understand. I should download the APIs. How many APIs? 2 APIs. Where is the 2 APIs and names and information is available in the API coordinates? That's nothing but pom.xml file. So we should download the APIs which are mentioned in the pom.xml file from Maven global server to Maven local repository. How can we download it? By using a command called mvn compile. By using a command called mvn compile, when you perform mvn compile, the APIs gets downloaded. The API gets downloaded into Maven local repository. Maven local repository will be created with the name M2. It's a folder that gets created, and it's a hidden folder with the name .m2. So I download this. How can I download it? I open the command prompt. Npm compile. So not here. You need to go to that particular location. Web app HSBC, the project starts. Now here you should write the command. Observe here what is happening. APIs are getting downloaded. Can you see the word download, download? The moment they are downloaded, in the folder structure, automatically a new folder gets created, target. Previously only src and pom.xml files. So the moment you download it, automatically a new folder gets created called the target folder. Now if you see git status, what's happening? Two untracked file, one pom.xml file we have modified, other one is new folder got created. Both are untracked file because there's some changes. So again, what I'll do, I'll move it into staging area. Isn't it? And then I move it into local repository by creating a commit called a second commit. First time it was first commit, this time it is a second. Okay. After downloading and performing a second commit. These are milestones which I have achieved as part of developmental activity. Next. So we know form.xml file. Next. What does src folder contains? Tell me. src stands for source code. src contains two more folders. One is main folder and test folder. What does main folder contain? Look at the folder structure under main, under Java, under form.hsbc. There is an app.java file. There is Java file here. And this is a sample Java file created by Maven. Just a hello file. Here we should place complete source code of the project. Here you should place complete source code of the project. Let's say if there are 100 Java files, all the 100 Java files you should place it here. Okay, for example, I'm creating one more Java file. Copy. And the class name should match with the right sample.java. Like this, you have hundreds of Java files should be placed in one location. Got it? So this is the location where the complete source code of the entire project. Okay. Next, what you need to do? All these Java files, we need to compile it. If there are 100 Java files, we should have 100 .class files, right? All these .java files should be compiled. Manually, if it is individual files, we have a command Java, so individually we compile it. If there are all 100 Java files, at a time we can compile it using one command called mbn compile. Look here. We need to compile the Java files, but for that we have a command called mbn compile. Go to command prompt. Go to command prompt. Now here I'm running a command called ambient compile. What happens? How many .java files we are having? As of now, there are only 2 Java files. So how many class files will be created? 2 class files. Success. Where the .class files, if you want to see the .class files, where the .class files will be created, it will be created in the target folder. Remember, whatever it is generated by Maven, that will be available in the target folder. So go to target folder, go back. SRC folder and target folder. Under target folder, can you see there is a folder called classes, com.hsbc. See, there are 2 class files. As there are 2 Java files, there are 2 class files. If there are 100 Java files, 100 class files. So like this, by using one single command, you will compile all the .java files which are available in the source code. Like this is about the main folder. What about test folder? Go to test folder, Java, com, hsbc. This is a Java file which is related to testing. So here this testing code should also be compiled, right? Testing code should also be compiled. For that, we have a command called ambient test. Go to command prompt. We have a command called ambient test. Testing code gets compiled. Compiled. So how many .java files are available in the testing? App test.java. So the class file will be created. Where the class file will be created? In the target. Everything will be created in the target folder. Under target folder, under test-classes. Actual code class files will be available in the classes. Testing related class files will be available in test-classes. Form, HSBC, app test.class. Like this. So we have compiled the actual source code and we have compiled the testing related source code. Next, what you need to do? We need to generate the artifact. We need to package these class files and generate an artifact by using a command called ambient package. By using a command called ambient package, yes. So I write the command package. It will package all the class files and finally helps in generating an artifact.
Previously, it generated one artifact, right? You have generated using that artifact ID, Maven number and all. So what is this again?
No, 1 minute. Previously, did I generate the?
You have generated one artifact, right? Like using group Maven number.
Oh, you are talking in this session?
Yeah, this session only.
By entering the Maven number, artifact will not be generated. The project structure gets created. There.
Okay.
So this project structure HSBC,
Okay.
SRC folder,
Okay.
form.xml file,
Okay.
how these folders are created, main folder, test folder. These are folders, how it is created by selecting the Maven number.
Okay. And Maven ambient compile will download the APIs, right?
Yes.
How it will come to know what are the APIs using that pom.xml only?
Only the form.xml file which I have mentioned. That
API
file, using that form.xml file, those who related APIs available in will be downloaded in the Maven
local
local
repository.
repository.
Okay. So what is the use of now GitHub here?
Look at this. No. Where is Maven local repository? Look at this one. We have created one environment variable, na? M2 underscore home. Do you remember?
Yes.
The Maven local repository downloads Apache Maven. So this is the location where the source code will the APIs will be downloaded. Okay, in this where exactly we are pointing to that particular location, the local repository will be downloaded. The APIs will be downloaded. Okay,
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir. And what is the use of GitHub now? See, we are not placing any
What
files
is the use?
from. See, we will place the source code in GitHub. Like developers will place the source code in GitHub. You said, right? But
Yes.
now there is. We are not taking this any source code from GitHub, right? Just we are creating using.
No. Where is the source code we are placing it?
Sorry.
Where the source code is placing? We are placing the source code in the main folder.
Okay. No. Previously, while explaining GitHub, you said like developers will push the source.
So this is a source code actually, isn't it? Unless it's
Okay.
100 Java files. This is a source code.
Okay.
Okay. This source code you should download it in one location.
Okay.
In the machine where the Maven is installed. Okay. Convert this particular source code into artifact. Okay.
Sunil, I didn't see. You didn't got. You said we need to push the source code to GitHub, right? After developing source code.
Yes.
So, but now here we don't have any source code in GitHub, right? Without having source code in GitHub, we are having
This is
direct.
a sample project, na? This is not the real project.
Okay. Okay.
This is just a sample project, a kind of project. Okay. That's the thing.
Okay. Okay. That real project will be explained, and I mean like normal real time scenarios, something like that will be explained, or else not.
No, actually, we don't need to worry about the process of dealing with Maven. You will never
Okay.
run at least one Maven command also.
Okay.
You're not responsible. Not even one command also will not run.
Okay.
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 Because it's
Okay.
not our responsibility to work with Maven. Hmm?
Okay.
Just to
Mainly
have
which
a
tools?
cycle build. Huh?
Okay. Okay. And mainly
Our
which on which
responsibility
tools will
starts
be
with
working?
Jenkins.
Okay. Okay.
Our
Okay.
responsibility starts with Jenkins. Once this artifact is created, then we use Jenkins. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
now look at what is the last command we have executed.
MVN package.
I think we have done it right. We have executed a main package. Yes, we have executed a main package. As a result of a main package, what has happened? The jar file got created, building jar file. Where the jar file will be created under web HSBC target folder. Everything will be created in the target folder. Can you see on the target folder? Can you say jar file is generated? Can you see jar file got generated? Isn't it, Vishal? An artifact. It's a sample Maven project artifact which has been generated. Clear, Chanakya? Looks like some problem, Prashant, in your mic settings. We cannot hear you. So this is the process using the Maven. We have built an artifact. So what do you do with this artifact now, Dinesh?
Yeah, we can
So
download
source
that.
code will not do. Source code will not do anything with the source code. Even the client don't need the source code.
Yeah.
So we have converted source code into an artifact. Now what you will do with this artifact?
We will give this artifact to the client so that they can use this application. I mean, like they can download from.
This artifact is nothing but an application, right? So this should be deployed into Tomcat or what, so that the application is coming into live. Isn't it? So how can we access only when you deploy it into application server? And how can we deploy this artifact into server? Manually, you can do it. You can automate it using Jenkins. This particular artifact, we take this artifact and deploy it into the client's infrastructure using Jenkins. We'll not do it manually. We do it using Jenkins. So that's how the source code and developers manage the individual source code using it. Once the development part is done, development team will package the source code by using and build tools. They come up with generating an artifact. Then we, as a Devops team, use Jenkins for deploying the artifact to the Tomcat so that the application will be live, so that anybody can use it. So that deployment of artifact into Tomcat server can be done by using the tool called as Jenkins. By using the tool called as Jenkins, very important. Okay. So now I hope you are now comfortable with these terminologies. Artifact, Maven number. There are a lot of Maven numbers, and development team will use the right Maven number according to the requirement. Group ID is nothing but the project structure. Artifact is nothing but the final file name. Project structure, we have seen it. pom.xml file, you know, it contains the API information. You know, mbn compile command, which helps in downloading the APIs. mbn test command, which helps. So mbn compile will generate the .class files related to src folder and main folder, and this is a this command will generate the .class files related to test folder, and the final command is mbn package, which helps you to generate an artifact. Clear about this. Now you also have an exposure about Maven tool, which helps in generating an artifact. And don't, as I said, I hope you will understand. We will never use Maven. How does we do? Why do we generate the artifact, and how do we know what kind of process the development team is using? We don't need to do that, but we should have an exposure to build and release cycle. That means you should have an exposure about build and release cycle. That means all the steps which are involved in building and releasing the project to the client, which as a DevOps engineer, you should have an exposure. The moment if anybody talks about Maven, you should not be completely blind. You should have some knowledge. Okay, so Maven will help in generating the artifact. Okay, now you know, yes, basic steps followed for generating an artifact.
Sunil, one doubt.
Yes, Dinesh.
mbn compile will download the required APIs and it will convert the .class files, right? So
We have generated and we have executed mbn compile 2 times.
yeah, understood. So if you execute for one time, what it will do? It will download the .class, or else it will
First
just
time it will download the APIs.
So okay.
Second time it will generate the class files.
So every time you need to do second time only for doing .class files, for generating .class files. Okay. And one more thing, can you explain like how we need to, if you are having files in GitHub, how we need to generate artifact and all? Can you explain that? Yeah. Hello.
Assuming we have a
We
file
have
source
source
code
in GitHub.
Okay. Anyways, we'll use that in Jenkins, na? In Jenkins, what we'll do? Okay, we'll take the source code from GitHub.
Okay.
We do it using what we are doing it in standalone machine. We'll be doing it on a cloud environment now. So using Jenkins, what we do now, Dinesh?
Okay.
We take
Okay, sir.
what Jenkins should do. Jenkins should take the source code from GitHub. Okay. And then Jenkins should call Maven.
Okay.
Jenkins should trigger Maven, and Maven will give us the artifact.
Okay.
And what Jenkins should do, again it will take the artifact and deploy it into the server.
Okay.
Everything on AWS environment. We can see that application in the anybody in the world can see that application using the public IP address. Okay, we'll see that.
Okay.
Jenkins. Okay.
Okay, Sunil. Thank you.
Okay. So this is what I have planned for today's session. So if you have already installed Maven, please follow the steps and then make yourself comfortable generating an artifact. Just have a hands-on. If you are not configured the artifact or not configured Maven also, I recommend to complete this configuration of Maven and then quickly complete these steps which are involved in generating the artifact. Okay. Yes, Asif.
Sunil, I did not understand that MVN test. What is the use of this? It creates
What
a
is the
test
use of
project.
MVN test?
Yeah.
What is the use of this MVN test command? Okay.
Yes.
Now, Asif, is it Asif? Yes.
Asif. Yes, Asif. Yes, I am audible, no?
SRC folder contains, you are audible. SRC folder contains the source code. This SRC folder is again how many folders this SRC folder is having? 2 more folders. Main folder and a test folder.
Test.
What does main folder contains?
All the source code.
Actual source code for building an
Source
application, isn't it? What does test
Yes.
folder contains? It also contains the source code related to testing purpose, performing unit test.
Okay. So it will
Source code
remain only
related to
up to the
source code
test.
for performing testing. This is a source code for
Okay.
actual building the project. Okay. This folder contains .java files. This also contains .java files. Ambient compile will generate the .class files which are there in this main folder. Ambient test will compile the .java files which are there in the test folder. Okay.
Okay.
You understand? Test
Okay,
folder is also having .java file. So how do you
Yes.
compile this? By using ambient test. Here is
Mm-hmm.
only one Java file, assuming there are 10 Java files. How do you compile all the 10 Java files at once? By using ambient test.
Ambient test.
Okay.
Okay.
Clear, Yasir?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So thank you all. So make yourself comfortable with this Maven. So tomorrow we'll start in the first tool of the next tool of DevOps, that is called as Jenkins, which is very, very important. Okay. Ashok, any questions?
Yeah, hi Sunil. So this Maven, everything done by developer.
Yes, development team.
So once artifact will generate, we will get into in GitHub. So from there we will use in Jenkins, right?
Yes. We'll see tomorrow.
Okay.
How to get the artifact and how to deploy it. Right from the source code, we'll do it. Okay. Thank you all. Have a nice time. So today was very less strength, maybe because of Sunday effect. Tanikya.
Yeah, I also heard about this Gradle tool also. So, is there any difference between Maven and Gradle?
Both are built tools. Maven is specific to
Yeah.
Java. That's it.
Okay.
Every project will have its own tool. Okay. And as a DevOps engineer, as I told you, you should work irrespective of the technology. Okay. Don't worry about this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, Akhil.
Hello. Yes, Sunil, if a company accepts or follow the DevOps methodology, then they should only use the Maven tool for build, or they can use any other also.
Any tool.
Any tool.
Maven is for Java as a Java technology. So if development team is working on .NET, you cannot use Maven. Seems impossible.
Okay.
You need to use MS Build or some other .NET tool, Microsoft tools.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you and see you tomorrow. Bye.
Sunil,
Yes.